Hi everyone, we're here to tell you about our Patreon.
Your support enables our podcast to grow bigger and better. If you love this podcast, check out our VIP area over on Patreon. For as little as £3 a month, that's 70p a week, you gain access to our Patreon exclusive episodes every single week.
These episodes include our monthly talent show, which is live on stage, featuring some of the best comedians in the country. Look at this.
I used to be like a Meatloaf impersonator.
Sing us some Meatloaf right now.
There's evil in the air, there's thunder in the sky, and a killer on a bloodshot streets. Hold down the tunnel where the deadly horizon. Oh, I swear, a young boy down to God.
Plus, you can get up close and personal with us on the Shed episodes, where we are definitely not under the influence of illegal substances.
I'm trying to hold this bear back. Can't hold it back much longer. Oh, not into the
There's an ever-growing archive of Patreon exclusive episodes ready for you to dive into right now this second.
Episodes like the 420 special, where Amy wrote me a comedy set for me to do in front of a live audience who had no idea what I was doing. It was horrific.
It was bad.
Have a look.
I've made a list of the really bad things I've done in my life, and I'm going to make up for them now. I have wanked over my nan. She had really amazing tits.
There's loads of other bonuses like 48 hours early access to our public episodes, pre-sale on tickets and merch.
£5 tiers get you discounts on the live show tickets. You get a free print that was designed by me and Amy. Sick. People put it up in their houses and that. Class.
£10 patrons get free tickets to our live shows. They get a signed print, discount on merch, and an exclusive members only club card.
Ooh, these club cards are reserved for podcast guests and the £10 tier top dons. Check out the details over at patreon.com/the Mild High Club. Join the club, will ya? Get involved.
We absolutely love you guys, and without your support we wouldn't be where we are, so thank you.
We love yous.
On with the show.
You're the best.
We're back. Episode 75.
Mild High Club.
Mild High Club. We're here with Shaman Kev. Are you still going by Shaman Kev, or you Mind Shaman now, or
Mind Shaman, yeah.
Mind Shaman?
Yeah. Okay.
Just Kev then.
Anything you know.
I think
I'll answer to all of them.
Shaman Kev stuck because of Paul, I think.
Yeah.
And like
I
that's
Milo.
Milo
yeah.
as well. Yeah.
When we first heard of Shaman Kev, we was like, we need to meet this man.
Yeah.
Just Shaman with Kev. It just,
Yes,
you don't
it
see
doesn't
it.
seem to fit, does it?
It's a nice juxtaposition
That's why
though. I
liked
like it.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
who is this enigma?
Yeah.
So we were meant to have you on the other week, but there was some scheduling stuff going on, so we had to change it to now. But it's good to have you here, man.
Yeah, nice to be here.
Having little chats in the car about some stuff that we wanted to save for now.
Yeah. So, I mean, my question is, what is a shaman? Like, what is the official...
Say it like that.
Well,
then.
I actually used that name as a brand because that's the nickname my friends were giving me.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, what it was is I've ended up going on to I obviously do a lot of work with plant medicines and
Yeah.
the shamans and work of that type.
So your name does determine your life path?
Maybe.
Maybe.
So what got you into it then? Like,
Well, I started out on I was trying to get myself off the Charlie and off the ale.
okay,
Yeah.
So I actually started on guided meditations from YouTube,
right.
and some of the effects I was getting from the meditations were just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The emotions I was feeling, the things I was experiencing, you know, I couldn't believe that was happening inside me head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
it got me
this was
hooked
all
with
just
it.
to get off addiction-based stuff, and
yeah,
then
because for me, anything externally wasn't appealing to me to help me get off because I saw so many people that were failing in their ways.
yeah, right.
So I come to the conclusion that I have to solve it myself.
Mm.
So I've done that through learning different techniques to work on myself.
Yeah,
I never actually planned on doing this as a job.
Right,
I was
okay.
really originally started out just for my own benefit.
personal use.
And then it's grown into it's a pretty decent career.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
sick.
I think a lot of stuff happens like that, doesn't it? Like, you don't know where you're about to end up. But
No.
it's like there's just a path there for you, and you're like, oh.
It just as long as you don't get distracted by all these,
Yeah.
all the let's say the stuff of reality,
Yeah.
all the flashing lights and all these things.
Yeah.
This will make you happy, that'll make you happy, but it never stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Have you found it hard since, like, has your following picked up or whatever since Paul has mentioned you and all that?
Yeah, it just goes steady. It just goes steady. But I also work with a lot of other people in terms of who seems to have a similar outlook on things.
Yeah.
Like, we really do want to help other people.
Yeah.
And we really see that people are struggling. So, I sort of work with a lot of people who are going in the same direction.
Yeah, it's surprising how many people have struggled with addiction, and that, like, most of our guests at some point.
Everyone has their own sort of addictions to like certain things, and it might not be the hard drugs or whatever, but everyone's got their own.
Everyone's got
some sort of addiction.
Everyone's trying to escape reality in some way.
Yeah. Even if it's just on your phone or whatever, innit? Like
smoking, coffee.
Yeah.
Anything to change your consciousness.
That's what we were talking about in the car for a little minute, wasn't it? Like you said you took like a tolerance break from weed.
Yeah.
And then like you having like fucking near psychedelic experience from it then after the 5 or 6 weeks
off in
or
2
whatever.
ways, It paid off in 2 ways. My dreams improved, right, and became unbelievably vivid.
When you were sober in a way,
yeah. So during the tolerance break, you have something called Rem Rebound Effect, which is where your rapid eye movement comes back for longer.
Yeah.
Right, so you experience more vivid dreams.
Oh, right.
And what this is, this is the brain processing information.
Yeah.
So it needs to process it regularly, but if we have somewhere that suppresses it, then it all comes all out at once.
Yeah.
That's an unbelievable dream. So
Yeah.
dreams you can get a book from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I had a really good one where me and my dad were spies in communist China. Yeah. We were walking around one of them smart cities, and they had them dogs, them electronic dogs that they're making. They had them, but they had guns on. The drones had guns on. The submarine drones had guns on. And he actually had a surveillance system that was reading people's body language.
No. I feel like you've astral projected into the future there.
Saying that, like,
it does sound an awful lot like.
Well, you're saying that like stuff reading people's body language and that. We were talking on one of our episodes the other day that like there's an AI been predicting crime.
Yeah.
7 days before it happens, and it's had like a 90%.
The Will Smith film.
Describe but it's had well, we were saying about like Hollywood and that. I feel like they put things in films to let you know this is what we're actually doing. By the way, like we showed you everything
because the technology that exists is far beyond what we're allowed to know.
Way beyond.
That's the point of that's the point of defense. Yeah. You need to know. You need to be smarter and way ahead of everyone else.
That's what people are saying about like
the country or
all
whatever.
The UFO things and that. You've started going.
Why is that funny? Doesn't it? I don't really laugh at it. It's true
because I love how passionate you get into it.
It just makes me
laugh. Do you know like the whole like UFOs, like the Pentagon are going, we don't know what this is anymore. Everyone's like, oh, it's aliens. People are like, nah, they're just saying that so you think it's aliens, but really it's just technology they don't want you to know they've got yet.
Yeah.
I want to come back to the UFO thing because there's a film came out that's got like a dead interesting.
Let's go straight to the UFO thing.
Well, it's the new film Nope, the new Jordan Peele film.
Oh yeah.
And it's basically a UFO film, but what the twist is that the UFO isn't got aliens inside it. The UFO is the alien itself.
Right.
And that's what's eating cows and shit. And I thought it was a really interesting concept.
Like AI?
No, like it's like an animal.
That is the alien, yeah.
What if it was AI?
Could be, yeah.
And the cow is just its fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
I really believe that we're already in AI.
And
we're in the process of becoming self-aware.
Well, didn't other like mathematical geniuses saying like statistically, mathematically, we're all like we have to be in a simulation.
People, like Neil deGrasse Tyson and that, he was like, we've made a simulation with humans in it in our computers. That simulation is going to make more simulations of humans in computers. It's much more statistically likely that we're one of them simulations rather than the original source.
More than likely.
Which is... And so do
weird.
You think there's... So if we are Sims, do you think there's cheat codes?
I think so, yeah. I think there's hacks, yeah.
Yeah.
There's certain hacks, learn certain things.
Easter eggs, yeah.
You've got to go on that wardrobe there and then jump 4 times and you fucking become a millionaire.
Imagine though, like if we are in a simulation, that could genuinely be the trick. Like you could jump on top of your wardrobe and then you've got more money in your bank account.
Tony Collette and fucking No, but I was when you were saying before about, I find that if I have a couple of days off the weed, I have really vivid dreams. Mostly it's nightmares.
Is it? Yeah.
I have really like bad nightmares.
But it depends how you look at it, because I try to, even with the nightmares, I try to be neutral. Because I want to learn what my brain's trying to tell me rather than me being involved with it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I've learned over time to be more neutral with them. So even the terrifying ones, I'm trying to look at from like an outside perspective rather than being in it and terrified.
Are you ready to look at your shadow side, Tom?
Oh yeah.
Never. I would
Never.
be. You know, if I had a bad trip, mate, I don't think I'd come out of it. Sometimes I think, you know, I've got some fucking demons.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
Tom.
I really believe that everyone has to have a look at their own shadow. Otherwise, it will play out in your life.
Yeah.
Because this is what
You have
causes.
to accept yourself.
Yeah, this is what this is what's caused some of the worst events that humans have ever committed against other humans. Is the shadow. It's your individual shadow is one thing, but the collective shadow is much more.
I just hope mine isn't like Timothy McVeigh or something like that, you know what I mean?
So we're always led to believe that the shadow is just home to our dark parts, but it's actually anything about our potential personality that we don't show to the world. So not anything we're not conscious of. This can mean good things as well. Yeah. Like you could see someone who's really, really confident, and you could admire their confidence, but chances are you're projecting your potential confidence onto that person. You know, and then if you judge something in someone, you're best looking for that in yourself as well. Because like I say, if you look at what's happening within the culture, the way they say there's a culture war going on, both sides are projecting onto each other.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if they were honest, they find a shadow in themselves.
Yeah, I think all that's been going on, like the two sides fighting. I think it's been going on for years, but it's only now is it, you know,
You
shown.
see it more because of social media.
What it is the conflict between thinking and feeling. If you're balanced, you haven't got a conflict. You know what I mean? If you've got enough individuals who are balanced, you won't have a conflict.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think everything's about balance?
Everything.
Because since we started doing like the odd mushroom trip and that, balance has come up a lot. Like there's equal good and bad in the world.
Masculine,
but the only reason because of that is
yang.
because of the balance.
Yeah.
You're never going to have 100% good. Because there needs to be a balance.
We need to be it's called holding the tension of all opposites.
Okay.
Right.
So like left and right, if you go free there, you're going to project onto the other side.
Yeah.
Feminine, masculine. If you just if you're a man, you become too masculine. You don't have a look at your feminine side.
Yeah.
But if your man become too feminine, you become a whiny bitch sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? But then it's the same with women. If we want to be whole, we have to accept all parts of ourselves.
Right, I have noticed that since, because I'm in a male-dominated industry now, and like there's so many men who just don't even know how to talk to women. Like they've just not spent enough. And same for women, don't know how to talk with men. And I do think we just need to spend more time with each other and learn from each other, because it's very like.
I found that lads with lads who went to private school, and they were a bit more scared or intimidated by like public school. But I went to, it was mixed.
Yeah.
You need challenge. Yeah. We need challenge. It's like see the way sometimes obviously someone can have a traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
Or if we're coddled, then we can have a really bad life in the future then, because we've never actually faced any challenge.
Yeah.
We need to have that challenge.
You need that adversity to grow from.
We need to have been thrown in a couple of times, lost a tooth, broke your hand.
Yeah.
You know, just similar little things like this, and it makes you sort of grow
makes you stronger.
And as horrible as it might seem at the time as well, it's all worth it.
Oh, I've had some heavy times happening, but I really appreciate them now.
That's the beautiful
Talk about
thing
the naivety.
about.
Right,
you know, you can be naive about reality, can't you? And then something comes along and it can put you into hell.
Yeah.
But if you've already had a few events, then you know you're sort of prepared.
The same again.
Shit can happen, can't it?
Yeah, you're not rocked by it and that. So, do you recommend obviously having a break from marijuana every now and again?
I think everything in moderation.
Yeah. I really want to have a break, but I find it hard.
Yeah, so you
probably. Do you have bad withdrawals? Sorry to interrupt there.
No, it's okay. Do you know at the beginning of the year I did? I had unbelievably bad withdrawals, like in January.
Yeah.
What we had done is me and my partner both decided we want to have some time where we weren't having it. So we done 3 Cambos, right? And
so just for anyone who doesn't know, can you explain Cambo is?
Oh, Cambo's a medicine that comes from an Amazonian tree frog.
Yeah.
And it can initiate a cleanse of the system.
Okay.
It's good for brilliant for trauma.
Yeah.
Brilliant for.
So when you say a cleanse of the system, there's a lot of like, are you sick and stuff like that?
Toxins, and there's no psychoactive effect. It's all a physical experience.
Oh, okay, right.
You purge into a bucket or you go to the toilet.
Yeah.
And it just gets rid of the toxins out of your system.
Oh, okay.
It's like there's always a physical and psychological element to everything.
Yeah.
So with trauma, you've got chemicals trapped in your body from that trauma.
Yeah.
And then like you see some of the pages that come out, you're like, it's better that someone out of someone's body than in someone's body.
Yeah, okay, right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you done 3 of them?
Yeah, so we've done 3 of them. We've done something called a lunar cycle, which is where you have 3 and 3 weekends to hit different points of your trauma patterns.
Right, okay.
Because we both understood that the cannabis itself wasn't like, you know, keeping itself going. It was our trauma patterns and wanting to escape them. So we get the trauma patterns as well as the actual addiction itself.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and then we developed a healthier relationship with it now, where we have big breaks in between, and then we get to enjoy it for a couple of days, and then we put it away again.
Okay, yeah,
that's good.
Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
That sounds healthy.
And just quickly go back to the dreams. Do you have lucid dreams, or is he just
some lucid, some vivid, and then some just dragged along for the ride?
Okay, so
it just depends on it depends on the night, really.
Yeah,
it? And it's becoming vivid, becoming lucid within a dream is obviously, it takes a lot of training. I haven't done a lot of training with it, so it's normally when it does happen, it's sort of accidental.
So what I found is like now, when you say about like nightmares and stuff like that, and just trying to see them from another perspective. If I ever realise I've got in a dream, I don't seem to have tattoos.
No.
And as soon as I realise that, I go, "Oh, I'm in a dream," and wake up.
Yeah.
Or if it's a nightmare, I don't like have the fear in them anymore, because my head goes, werewolves aren't real or whatever, you know. And then I wake up out of them, and I don't know what that is.
I think it's because not saying before about remaining neutral.
Yeah.
By realising that you're in a dream, then it's taking you out of neutrality, so it sort of changes, doesn't it?
That's quite hard to do. What he just does naturally, though.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah, because there was we had a dream. There was like a woman. Like I was looking out of our back window, and like some weird like demon-y type woman come over the fence and started running at the window. And in my head, I was like, "This isn't real." And then I woke up and I was like, "Oh, that was mad, wasn't it?"
So that's a negative feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
a negative.
wonder who that could be.
No, so
Don't point at me.
no, so the negative feminine could be an individual characteristic, or it could be a collective.
Yeah.
So like every single culture talks about some form of negative feminine and a negative masculine.
Okay.
So I've just been talking to someone this morning about Kali.
Yeah.
She's a deity from
I've got a
Hinduism.
tattoo of Carly on my back.
Yeah, and she's just got the fella's head in her hands.
Yeah.
Well, that energy is what's responsible for, obviously, the negative feminine traits within us.
Yeah.
It's a symbolic representation. And all the different cultures have them, don't they? So it's like what we're seeing in our dreams is a symbolic representation of our bodies in a state.
Right.
I look at it as a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
We didn't used to think the way we do now with our intellect.
Oh, it's not always so literal, is it?
No, it's symbolism. I think it's very important for us to understand.
And because it's like a sort of subconscious thing as well, dreaming in it, that maybe like it does bring stuff up that you should have to address, but you might not take it that way because you're like, "Oh, that was a mad dream." That when really it was like your brain going, address this issue.
It's unfiltered access to your unconscious.
Yeah.
So if you can understand what it means, you can probably understand yourself on a deeper level.
Right. Yeah.
Do you believe in like precognition and scribing, stuff like that, where you...
I've seen people doing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's and they always do it with the left hand, which is connected to the right side of the brain. So whether I believe it's like an outside entity or a part of the person, because I believe we've got higher parts to our own mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So like where there could be messages coming from a higher part of a person. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because I wrote a book when I was in New Zealand, and it's coming true now, which is weird. It's like weirdly so.
Yeah.
Like even the person we had on last week, they were called Green Angel, and in the book it's about like sex work, having to do sex work online because we've got no money in that. Yeah. And there's a little green fairy from hallucinating that comes
from
up
having absinthe
and guides.
I've heard of this.
Yeah.
So she wrote like getting pissed on absinthe and a green fairy telling you to get into sex work.
I've heard of that green fairy before with the absinthe. Yeah.
But now we've had someone on who's a sex worker called Green Angel.
I've started making the film.
Yeah.
And everything's fell into place with it. Like a filmmaker's offered to make it for free and everything.
Brilliant.
And then we just had a dominatrix on who is Green Angel. That was the...
I've seen that. I've seen the clips of that one. Yeah.
So
that's weird, isn't it?
Like stuff weird.
Stuff
and
like
it starts
that.
with a podcast as well. Didn't have a podcast at the time. And now it's just all
I believe that there's a collective place we're all connected to, and this is where art comes from.
Yeah.
And then this is why a lot of artists will predict events that are going to happen in physical reality.
Like The Simpsons.
Like The Simpsons, but like a lot of art, it sort of precedes what happens in the physical.
Yeah, right.
But both realms are connected, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Carl Jung's he's done studies on synchronicity with a quantum physicist called Wolfgang Pauli.
Yeah.
And they believe that it's because our thoughts and physical reality are on the same wave, but at different octaves.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So this is why, like, obviously we think of things and then see them in reality, and
Is that like when you go, oh, I'm thinking about someone, and then they text you
there you go, yeah.
like that, and then you go, oh, that was weird, wasn't it?
But I
Like,
think it's getting more obvious now because
Yeah.
one, we're in a much more gentler society than we've ever been in.
Yeah.
So we can be more aware of what's happening and realise, oh, there's more about reality than what we thought.
because you're not worrying about like people coming fucking invading your space and robbing off you and
Yeah.
that. You can just sort of, it's a bit easier to live now type of thing.
And
for
most of our
some
basic
people.
needs are taken care of. So if we wanted to reach self-actualization, it's probably easier now than it's ever been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But this also means we can become aware more of what's actually happening in reality rather than just what we're told happening.
I was thinking, like, do you know, because obviously people are more coming into spirituality and that now, but it was very, like, science stuff and spiritual stuff was, like, at war with each other almost.
Well, quantum physics is helping to bridge it.
Yeah, that's good. But just, we've made, like, the internet, and do you think that's, like, a replacement, like, an artificial replacement of consciousness?
I think so, yeah. I
Like,
think
we
it's
need
going
it.
to help us re-establish connection.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Do you know what I'm laughing at? Sorry. Halfway through that, I was proper listening, right? And I've just went, I forgot there was a fucking Dixon lane.
It's that kind of show.
Fucking hell, sorry.
So
I thought that before. I was wondering what
I
it
felt
was.
like that when you...
We had a porn star on.
Yeah, I was like,
No,
So
he was
the,
definitely a sex addict. That fella,
yeah.
fucking hell.
Oh my god, yeah.
So you got on the guided meditations to deal with addiction.
yes.
Did they help with the addiction alone, or does the guided meditations lead to doing psychedelics and stuff like
The
that?
guided meditations led on to meditation,
Yeah.
also going through a lot of courses on like breath work,
Okay.
learn to teach yoga, learn to teach Reiki,
Yeah.
learn to teach meditation, hypnosis, NLP.
Yeah.
So all sorts of different, led on to it going, I got addicted to doing courses then, so I didn't have any time to go out on
So
the
that
other.
was your new addiction,
That was my new
fucking
addiction,
learning how
yeah.
to heal yourself and others and that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah. So I actually got into all that first, and then we came across DMT.
Okay. So
So
was that the
listen-
first psychedelic you ever?
Oh no, I've had
Right, okay.
more, but I haven't had them in the past and appreciated what they were.
You were doing them more like a party drug
Well,
type.
it's more of an escapism thing now.
Yeah.
Whereas now everything's a tool. Everything
Yeah.
can be used as a tool at
Right.
the right times.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, with moderation. But when we found the DMT, it was unbelievable.
So
like even the first time, like because it scared me and my mate got it, right? And we went to my mum's. There was no one in at the time. Sat in the back garden, had a little go, and the whole garden turned into a cartoon version of the garden. And like it was spreading. And then when it got up into the sky in the clouds, I had like a pop. The cloud turned from a normal cloud to a cartoon cloud.
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, exactly like that. And I was just like, whoa. And then when it was over, it was like, I come back and it was just like, shit, that's unbelievably powerful. That. Just when we had a tiny little bit.
Just a little.
That's amazing.
But we didn't touch it again for 6 months.
No.
I know it goes away, doesn't it? It's one thing that can stay safely in your cupboard.
Yeah, right. Just store it well, can you?
We've got
We've got some that we want to try, and we went to try it the other night, and there was no charger with it. And we're like, oh,
The vape
no,
one.
the vape one.
Yeah.
What would you like?
What
What's
would you
the
recommend?
difference in between
You're going to go further without the vape.
without the vape?
Go
Yeah.
further if you get like get a bong and get the glass bowl, the round glass bowl instead, and use that.
Yeah.
You're going for 3 to 4 big hits on it.
Yeah.
I've got asthma. Is that quite harsh?
It can be, but if you put it in the bong I got has got water, then it's got a filter, and then I put ice in it. So it sort of takes a lot of the intensity out
Yeah,
of it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm a bit like, I don't know what, not scared to do it, but like maybe more anxious about doing it. What would you recommend me just not doing it?
So what it is just any time you're going to be doing something that you haven't done before, you're going to get fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
This is because you're used to known territory. This is unknown territory.
Yeah.
I'm not. I
You're
want
okay.
it. Yeah.
You're a bit more gung-ho. Yeah.
It's my granddad.
Throw caution to the wind.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Sometimes it's better because what do you know? Psychedelic actually means to reveal the soul.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's like putting a magnifying glass to your psyche.
Yeah.
So whatever you're feeling will be magnified. So if you can put yourself into a relaxed state, you're going to see a reflection of that.
Yeah.
Whereas
Right.
if you get yourself too worked up, then you're going to see a reflection of that. But I recommend things like relaxation techniques before.
Yeah.
You can do a bit of meditation first.
How important is breath work?
Breath work is probably the most important tool that we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, by
So you do a
far,
lot
out
of
all of them.
you do a lot of like the open water swimming and stuff like that through
we do
breath work.
Yeah, we do the cold water swimming with the breath work. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's through like that's similar Wim Hof, all that stuff that he's pushing in it. That's
We went to Crosby the other day. I was like, we're gonna get in the sea, and we got there and the tide was miles away. I was like, I didn't check, but we marched anyway. Marched all the way out there. Put my stuff on the sand, wet in the water, literally up to my shin, and a boat went past and brought all the water in, and I turned around and our clothes were gone.
Oh no.
Everything had sailed away, and I was like, we had to drive home with no pants on.
Yeah, go on the lake at Crosby.
Just because Amy wanted to
Yeah,
feel
we go on
part
the
of
lake
the
to do it, yeah. Only because it's the water itself, the coast in Crosby is quite dangerous.
Yeah, there's a lot of jellyfish. I got scared.
Well, it's called it's got something called rip currents.
yeah.
So when the tide's coming in, there's always a channel going out, and if
Yeah.
anyone gets up in that channel, they get dragged out maybe a few hundred yards out.
Yeah.
To sea.
Well,
Two podcasters.
That's
dead at
why
sea.
I was going to go to, there's a beautiful lake in Knutsford, I think. Our friend just swam to France, did he?
Swam the channel, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
There's a few of them, I think, doing like a relay sort of.
Yeah, so we were going to go with him on the 1st of August, because I wanted to start the beginning of every month with going in a lake.
Yeah.
And just...
Like a detox.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
No,
good. It's really good
Yeah,
for you.
like
you
a
know,
good
yeah.
ritual. And I thought,
really
if
bring
we
the
start
presents.
now, then we'll be ready for winter. Like,
Winter is
The
coming.
first time I done it, my mate took me to Carmel Dam Lake.
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Have you been in that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it had ice on it. He smashed
Yeah.
a hole in the ice to get in.
There's a purple wheelie bin in that in there, and I don't know why. I don't know how it
that's
got there.
yeah.
Wrong
Does
council,
anyone,
innit?
yeah, does anyone know the story of the purple wheelie bin at Carmel Dam?
Some John Ed's just brought it up and went, someone will laugh at this, lads.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Or it's
It's all
just someone
puzzle
fuming
paper.
from St. Helens going, I'll show you what colour my bin is. Fucking-
You don't want a purple bin anyway. Right.
I was going to ask Kev, if you don't mind, if you'd ever, because you know you do sit-throughs with people, do you know what I mean, if it's the first time, has there ever been anyone who's came in and you've just had to be like, this is not for you, mate? Like,
Yes.
yeah, people, and like, they're feeling the wrong energy, do you think it's more of a party fucking thing than, like...
Exactly that, yeah. You've got, you've obviously, you want healthy, strong people. If someone looks like they're too weak, then you wouldn't risk it anyway. No, definitely not. Definitely not. And plus, if someone had severe mental health issues as well, I wouldn't recommend it to them either.
What do you mean by severe mental health issues?
Well, severe mental health issues would be like something that's medicated.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like-
like schizophrenia or something.
Like schizophrenia, psychosis when it's gone too far.
Mm.
I just believe there's other ways that people with more severe issues should deal
Yeah.
with it first.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because they should be able to address their symptoms in a natural way at some point. But
Yeah.
obviously, it's not possible for some people.
Mm.
Yeah,
Would you guide us?
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
see why not?
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
I think that'd relax me more, I think, if I had
But
a...
we do a meditation first and get you
Yeah,
in a good headspace first.
Yeah,
That
that'd
sounds
be better, I think.
appropriate,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds better than just doing it in
Have
my bedroom.
I haven't seen it yet, but people keep talking about this new documentary that came out on Netflix, How to Change Your Mind. Have you seen this yet?
I've heard little bits.
Is that the
but what's on it?
LSD
Yeah,
one?
but it's not just that.
psilocybin
Yeah,
one and that, yeah.
goes into. I don't know why I'm commenting on it. I haven't fucking seen the thing, but
Yeah.
It's
I
just,
I
it's
imagine
just
it'd be
saying
right
all
for
the
you.
same
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
again about
There's
how
just
good it
enough
is
science.
for like
Yeah.
helping rewire your brain to deal with trauma and PTSD and stuff like that. It's just another one of them, I think.
Yeah.
It's like
Just-
therapy. People are thinking that it can be just as good as therapy now.
Yeah,
But you're on
yeah.
a course, maybe.
You just have to do it
Yeah.
the right
Better.
way,
You come
innit?
in-
I think one of the things that they can teach us is we need to become independent of everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to our mental health, because only us can find our own answers.
Yeah, right.
You know,
Yeah.
so what they've taught me is to have them less
Yeah.
and have them in a sort of a sacred way, as opposed to hitting it too hard just to see what happens. It's the in-between time that's really important. It's called the integration period.
Okay.
So if you have a big experience on, say, DMT, and it clears loads of patterns, or if you put new practices in place like meditation, yoga, exercise, healthy habits, then you're going to maintain that feeling longer.
Right.
But if a lot of people have it, go away, their old patterns come back, and then they have it again. Because they knew it got rid of them last time, but they're not getting the point. It's taken you to a place where you can maintain
and like rebuild or whatever.
Rebuild yourself, Whereas like I say, everything's open to abuse, and if people think it's like a magic pill, there's no magic pill. The only magic pill I believe there is a person like discovering themselves and working on themselves. That's what I'll be honest, that's what they taught me. They taught me that eventually you will no longer have the urge to have any of these. Because you'll have everything you need already.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does take a shock to the system, whether that's, you know, a proper trip to kind of change stuff in life, do you know what I mean? And
just to make you sort of go, oh, fucking hell, I'm not doing this in the right way here or whatever,
For me, like, I think in lockdown I had a bit of a breakdown, as we all did. But it was, I got into, like, we did yoga every night and stuff like that, and I tried to go through what's it called, like psychiatrists on the NHS or whatever. I told them what was going on. They asked me if I was showering, and I was like, yeah. And they was like, okay, well, we don't think you're at risk. They gave me the Samaritan's number, and then they was like, we'll be back in touch for like an appointment, and it was a year later.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
And and also, like, I've been through, like, with social services and stuff.
So hang on, if you would have went, no, actually, I'm not showering with you, but right, action stations. She hasn't had a radon spot in fucking 3 weeks.
Maybe they'd have got back to me in 11 months.
Know,
it's shit. And people, unfortunately, we can't rely on these systems. No. Like, and that's what Dean was trying to get me to, like, oh, you've got to just tell him, and they'll help. And I'm like, I've been through it before. It's not even their fault, but they've not been through what I've been through, so they don't know. And I really, you have to help yourself in these situations. And for me, weed has helped me in them, like with depression and stuff. It just helps you to take a step back from whatever dark hole you're in.
It takes a lot of seriousness out of things.
Get a wider angle on things. Still can be abused. I'm probably abusing it now. But I do think it's a very important tool.
I do. That's what I mean. I really appreciate it after these tolerance breaks, like how powerful it was, and how the fact that I was actually cutting myself from that experience by having it too much.
Yeah.
Whereas like when it was my birthday on Tuesday, and so we got one little bag between me and the missus, and
absolutely barbecued, was
some of the some of the things I was experiencing, like it helps you, like I believe it's helping you communicate a high part of yourself. And it really helped me get into my heart the other day. It hasn't been doing that for a while.
So what do you mean when you say that?
Into my heart. So like I believe we can be too much in the irrational part of the mind or too much in the rational part of the mind. Whereas in the heart is where there's balance in you between the two. You know, so like that's what adds depth to me. That's what adds depth and meaning to reality, is being in that space. Whereas in the irrational mind, I'll be reacting too emotionally, and in the irrational mind, I won't be reacting with enough empathy. Whereas in the heart, I'm able to access both.
I get you.
But that's how I believe the inner conflict is created. How people go into inner conflict is either too much in their irrational mind or too much in their rational mind.
So when people say like you thinking with your head or your heart, like you need to find the space in the middle of them two.
So there's actually three separate brains. So you got in the gut, you got your enteric nervous system or your gut brain. And then you got your heart brain, the intracardiac nervous system, and then your regular brain. And then they communicate via the two arms of the vagus nerve. So if they're not communicating properly, you're going to be too one-sided either way. But as a result of being one-sided either way, you're going to project on anyone who's the other way. So you can see how it's sort of the imbalance, collective imbalance, can create the society that we live in.
And you think breath work is the best tool for
by far
your vagus nerve?
Yes, by far. The word spirit out of spirituality means breath. So like the way the breath interacts with our cells makes us have a certain experience. So like if you're breathing in a relaxed manner, you'll spend more time in your parasympathetic nervous system. If you're breathing in an erratic manner, you spend more time in your sympathetic nervous system.
Right, and that's why you can like hyperventilate and go into panic states and stuff through just breathing.
Have you got tips for starting in breath work?
Yeah. So for gentle breath work, double the exhale. So inhale through your nose, inhale and exhale through your nose as much as possible, and then try to double the exhale because that triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you relax.
That one where you go.
That's an inhale, though, isn't it?
No, yeah, but I saw a video where someone just had to go.
No, I'd actually to relax and do it gently. So I'm talking about gentle enough, so you want the breath to come in that slow and relax where it doesn't disturb your nose hairs.
I might be into Tony Montana the bar. But you don't realise how important breathing really is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was sitting and asked the other day, I'm like that on a game, and then I had been probably in about 20 minutes playing this fucking Champions League game. And
everything follows the breath. Everything.
Yeah.
But like people like Kundalini, is it Kundalini yoga where...
Ma used to fucking love
that. Is that like... Because I've heard of people saying, do Kundalini and they have like DMT style experiences. But I've also heard that it's not good for you because you're getting yourself into some sort of like hyperventilation type state.
I'd say the only people it wouldn't be good for is if you hadn't grounded yourself in some of the information.
Okay.
Like things that you can experience during Kundalini yoga are like psychedelics.
Yeah.
But if you're not prepared for that, then you can, experience.
So that's the only bit that's bad for you, not being prepared. So but the actual breathing of it isn't like dangerous to do.
What Kundalini actually does is it wakes up innate talents, innate gifts that we've suppressed.
Like primal type stuff, you mean?
Primal type stuff. So see the way I'm talking before about it not being whole.
Yeah.
Well, Kundalini to me wakes up the feminine part of me.
Okay.
So they were suppressed because obviously I'm masculine. We're in a masculine society, so a lot of that's suppressed. So when someone wakes her up, they're actually waking up innate talents that they've suppressed over time.
Yeah.
So I consider it similar to self-actualization.
Right.
But you have to realise that that's what's happening because, this sort of thing coming up can easily send someone, into what they believe is severe mental health issues. Like a sort of psychotic break. But that's how it can come across. But if you're grounded in knowledge about what you can experience, then it can be one of the best things you've ever done.
Yeah. Could that be because like you unearth a trauma that you might have suppressed
you'll
to the point where you forgot it or whatever, and then you unearth it, and then that can send you on a bad way, or
it'll help you uncover your traumas, and part of reaching that self-actualized state means getting through your traumas.
Okay, yeah.
And working through them. So if we've got all these other parts and it's getting triggered all the time, then it's hard to reach that state.
Yeah.
But if we work through them, then we can become more whole. And like I say, Kundalini is similar to you're pulling up repressed information. You're trying to make yourself more whole and expand your consciousness.
Yeah.
But to do that, you need to understand what the information that's coming up means.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So it can be a very symbolic experience as well, the Kundalini.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, good though, really good. So I've done quite a few Kundalini classes with different people in Liverpool.
Did you get into that sort of like DMT style state of mind?
A few times, yeah. But some amazing physical experiences in terms of releasing things trapped within the body and just feeling like much lighter at the end of it. Yeah. So
where did you get all like your so like when you started you done the guided meditation and then you tried DMT or whatever other psychedelics and that, where did you sort of get your is it teachings from? So like when it comes to using it, is it the Cambo and that? Where how do you learn stuff like that?
Haley Louise has asked that where he gets it, like his knowledge.
Right, okay, yeah. Well, we go for a Patreon question there.
Yeah, most of the information I get is from Carl Jung and Jungian psychology.
Yeah.
Well, psychology in general, but mainly I go towards Carl Jung because I believe his psychology is to help me find myself rather than finding a leader.
Okay.
So it's about finding the integrating the shadow. And meeting up with it in it and integrating it in opposites and these sort of things.
But most of it you just learn through like psychology and getting to know the mind better and stuff like that.
Do you read any like philosophy books and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because it's very like
it's a fine line.
Kind of touches it, doesn't it? Yeah.
I look at things like mythology as psychology. It's the same thing. It's the same
from
subject.
Back in the day.
Well, yeah, but from a different perspective, looking at it from a different perspective.
So say like mythology, you'd say like a Minotaur, is that like just a story based on like a certain part of your mind?
Well, that's
but
about
they put it into a
Minotaur's
story.
About the shadow.
Okay, there you go.
So it's about finding your way through the labyrinth.
Yeah.
To first meet the Minotaur and then slay it.
Yeah.
But for Theseus to be able to get through the labyrinth, he had to have the help of Ariadne.
Okay.
And that means the feminine and masculine had to rebalance.
So it is just a way of learning a certain thing through a story. Yeah.
But these actual characters speak to us on a deeper level than just the intellectual.
Yeah.
Speak to deeper parts of us.
Okay.
It's not just a woman who fucked a cow, okay? It's much deeper than that.
No, that's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that is mad. Do you know anything about Solomon and wasn't there like 72 demons? I tried to learn about
Solomon's Temple and that.
Yeah, do you know anything
So
about
I don't know a lot about Solomon. The only thing I know about Solomon's Temple is the part from like the Knights Templar. Because they were they used to sleep in the Temple of Solomon when they were guarding pilgrims on their trip to the Holy Land.
Right.
But when it comes to stories about people like the Knights Templar and that, you're never too sure to believe where they're forced for good or where they're forced for bad. It depends on who's telling the story.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, obviously their symbolism gets used for, propaganda as well.
Yeah. And do you think that people in power are bad guys?
Do I?
Yeah.
I think they're deeply in the shadow, and I don't think we should be listening to them.
Yeah.
I believe that the people who are in charge are the most traumatized among us, and I also believe that anyone who decides that they're important enough to rule over other people really needs some inner work.
Yeah, it
because
makes sense,
it's to me it shows someone who's got no control of themselves, so they're trying to control the external.
Yeah.
And you got to the point where it's like really chronic.
Well, like gaining monetary values and powers and all that.
I would never ever listen to those people.
No,
yeah.
Have you treated? Sorry,
okay.
have you treated? So obviously with Boris, for example, there's some narcissistic personality disorder going on.
Yeah.
Have you ever treated anyone or heard of people being treated, the narcissism being treated via psychedelics?
Well, I imagine it could be because narcissism is an imbalance in wanting to control others and wanting to be admired. I can imagine it can bring balance back to people, and I know it has brought balance back to people.
Yeah.
But one of the things in the West is we're all to a certain degree narcissistic.
Yeah,
naturally
absolutely.
are.
I mean, we do stand-up comedy and a podcast and that as well.
Exactly.
There's got to be some of it somewhere.
We've all got traits, but I believe the people at the top of the power structures represent the extreme of narcissism. Like, I think if enough people ignore them, they will go away. But it's like we validate them by
or they might
to vote
act
for
worse because we're not giving them the food.
But it's that level of job as well, and you're like, right, your final say on everything, and you've got to make the rules, and for someone to go like, yeah, I can do that, and you're like, what? And you're like,
yeah, I'd be like, don't give that to me. Why are you mad giving that to me?
And that person be like, no, watch me, and you're like, oh no,
no, that's what I mean. You run a mile from people like that.
Yeah.
So they should take mushrooms or whatever before they do that job.
I think if enough people do work on themselves, we'll unfold new systems out to the inside of people and stop repeating patterns. Because the same patterns repeat all the time, and it's where the left wins or the right wins, we end up in some form of
conflict somewhere, isn't it?
There's always going to be. Well, remember when one side gets too much power, they always pay to the other side.
I got loads of shit a couple of years ago because I'm politically homeless. I don't belong to the left or the right. I swear to God, I am. I couldn't give a shit.
I get what you mean.
And when everyone, and listen again, I might get shit again for it, but when everyone's singing Jeremy Corbyn's name, I'm like, why? Because he doesn't wear a tie. Why are you so fucking made up? But I'm like, so it's just the same. But he's just, you know what I mean? He's just another politician, but it's like, nah, but he's a good one. It's like, is he though?
Because what it is they've got a saviour within themselves that they project outwards. They're expecting someone to come along and save them. Yeah. But he's meant to carry around a copy of Mao's Little Red Book. And Chairman Mao killed 70 million people, 80 million people.
There you go.
It's so like, I won't want to read his book. You know what I mean? I don't believe it's going to be true.
But that was just my point of like, and like.
Also something about them as well. So this is why the language of symbolism is important. So Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, loads of other famous Labour politicians were all Fabians. And a Fabian's symbol is a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm the same as you. It's like, I don't trust, I barely trust anyone. You know, everyone's got a shadow. We can barely trust ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes you meet people and you go, fucking hell, this sound. Yeah, and then they go, and then something changes, and you're like, what the fuck? Like you say, everyone's got a shadow side, and so you have to be wary of who you're trusting and
Loads
all
of
that.
people thought Donald Trump's here to save the world.
Oh,
And it's
mate,
like, no,
fucking hell.
but what it is it goes both sides. Both sides is you go into conflict. Because to believe he's going to do that, it means you're going to project onto the other side then. You know, but then if you're following Corbyn, you're going to project onto the other side. And it's like, you're just projecting onto the other side of yourself.
It's a very selfish outlook, but it's my outlook. It's been going on for fucking years and years and years and years. The fighting, and it's gonna go on for years after we're dead. So I'm just gonna be a bit selfish. I'm just gonna have a bevy.
It's all tribalism, though.
No,
isn't
you're
it?
actually probably doing everyone a favour by doing that. It's like
not feeding into
stepping back. I'm not getting red-faced typing a paragraph on fucking Facebook. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly. No, that's me. There's no point getting
maybe alive for another
robbed into it.
You about 3 years.
I want to be dead 10 years by the time I'm 60. Put it that way. So
no, I'd say it was around the time I realised about the imbalance, because I actually was following when the Corbyn was going to go into power, and I was excited at the time. And then when I started reading into things, I was like, no, it's just more of the same. And you've just been blagged by it again.
Just on the other side now, innit? Like, it's weird having one person or one party in power.
And not like a little
Power needs to be like a tribe of 20
or
something.
Different colours, fucking red ranger, blue ranger.
I feel like that's the only way you're going to start seeing
Megazord.
some sort of...
I think that actually there is to take our shadow.
Yeah,
they're to accept the projections, but they're not really in charge.
That's what because I was saying this, like, surely it's not up to the Prime Minister to go, this is happening, boom, there you go, we're done.
The wealthiest
there must be
are always in charge.
Some sort of like a shadow government who go over everyone going, no, this is what we want to happen. Make it work. You know what I mean? And like keeping people fighting over like Labour and Conservatives is the one way to keep power over everyone, innit?
Yeah,
divide
and
tribalism
and all that. Like,
the same thing plays out in every country of the world, doesn't it? The same two dynamics.
That's it. Yeah, it's always two parties. It seems to be, and it keeps it. You're either left or right. Fight it out with each other.
And then you're not allowed to go to vote for the other side if you're in a particular place.
Yeah.
But I'm just like one of them. I wouldn't vote for any of them.
Yeah.
Bit of a swerve.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like past life regression?
I would do past life regression with people.
Can we do it?
Where it seems very real to the person, but obviously you're never too sure whether it's real or it's symbolic. But people are actually getting taken back to the place. And I recently had a girl who went back to 2 different past lives, and she found evidence of those people on the internet and done a bit of research and put it into a bit of a rabbit hole.
Okay, that sounds cool though. I've read a book about kids. What's it called? Reincarnation.
Yeah.
And this journalist went around and spoke to all these kids who were like, no, my name isn't Becky, it's
my name's
John.
Slug.
Yeah, Slug. And I died in a car accident and I want to go home to my wife. Do you know, like these kids?
I
so funny.
I don't believe we could reach self-actualization in one lifetime. I think it's too much to learn.
But I got a big meeting at 4. You gotta get me home.
But they traced, and it was real people though.
There is actually a few instances where they have.
That's what I was, probably a prince. Probably a king.
One thing I've noticed about loads of people, not people who I've done a guided one with, but people who believe that they are a reincarnation of someone. Yeah. It's always some long dead important deity.
They're always dead important.
It's like I've already met 4th Mary Magdalene.
We can't all be Mary Magdalene,
So what does that mean then? Is that's the ego?
Exactly. I was a bacon in France.
No, I'd think they've met a collective symbol within themselves and they identify with it. Whereas, like, I believe they should learn from it rather than try to identify it and believe that's.
Oh yeah, because if we're all one and the same anyway, and we've all shared.
Well, it's
Mary Magdalene.
Yes. Well, it's like a lot of people on DMT will see people like Ganesha or Buddha.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't then identify as Ganesha or Buddha.
Yeah. Well, it was weird. Yeah. Because I've got a big back tattoo. At the top of that is Carly's head.
Yeah.
Paul Smith always goes to people. He goes, "Oh, Dean, get your back out. Show these your back." And then I showed Laurie me back, and they both went, "We seen that face on DMT. my Carly
Yeah.
tattoo, and I was like, yeah, it's Carly. It's a fucking not iCarly.
No, my Carly.
I have to sleep next to that every night, and it's awful.
Haven't you?
But I was like, yeah, it's like she's like the destroyer of egos or something, isn't she? Like,
Well, she represents the negative feminine, so
Yeah.
like, but it's always going to come about because we're educated into worshipping masculine deities. But I look at deities as energy.
Yeah.
So I believe to find balance, we have to sort of acknowledge both.
well, in the Hinduism and all that, there is a lot of female goddess. What am I looking for? Deities or figures or whatever. Whereas with ours, it's just like Jesus.
Yeah,
That's it.
Jesus,
Yeah,
God,
and
both
just-
men.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Both
you
winners.
see the consequences of that now in that people are so like shut down to anything feminine
Yeah.
and masculine rules.
Yeah, it's mad. And even the only woman in like the Christian thing of Mary, it's like, but you ain't a slag, all right? She never had sex. And
Yeah.
it's like, but she goes up, no,
No,
all right, it was
didn't even
fucking
have
magic.
sex,
She
yeah.
woke up, was pregnant, all right.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Suppression of yeah, because isn't it all meant to be about fertility as well? Like all the gods. are meant to be-
Christianity and that is apparently just a big fertility cult and
Impregnated a woman without
It was
consent.
all
it was
around
actually, it was
psychedelics
actually
and that.
one of many different cults that they had a choice out of. So
Yeah.
the Roman Empire, when it was collapsing, chose to adopt Christianity
right
because
yeah,
it was the
yeah,
cult that suited them the best at the time.
Yeah.
But it's I believe a lot of them religions have started out from a good place.
Yeah,
I think it's all
Yeah.
psychedelics
But I
based.
believe they devolved into the shadow because it's become a collective.
Yeah.
So it's like, imagine it's not like worship this character. Imagine it's like find this character within yourself.
Within yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's meant to be about. And
That's what
enough
it says
people-
in the Bible. Like,
Yeah.
oh, God is within you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people look
Do you reckon-
outwardly for signs from God
Yeah.
or whatever. And it's
Well,
like,
that's
no,
what I
look
that's what I
inward.
believe myself.
Yeah,
I believe
yeah.
it's about. So, like I say, me as a man, I'm gonna have an inner feminine, but it's known in psychology as my anima,
Right, okay.
and I'll be projecting that onto women within my life.
Yeah.
But that originally is based on my relationship to my mum.
Okay.
So then, if I want to be whole, I can't project it outwards. I've got to find it in me. So
Yeah.
that's what I've obviously been trying to work towards.
Yeah.
Why
right.
do you think we all naturally gravitate towards the negative, the dark side, or whatever?
Because
Like,
that's the default.
Easy,
And that's
is it?
and what
Yeah.
it is that's the instincts.
yeah,
So the instincts are the
It's
animalistic
annoying.
part of ourselves. Well,
it's annoying, isn't
well,
it?
but it's actually, but it's harder to strive for something more, and
Yeah.
we're filled with that many fears and that many negative self-beliefs that we don't try and strive for something that's higher with for ourselves.
Yeah.
We always think it for other people.
That's why dopamine comes from pain. You have to endure pain, and then you get a big fat
Yes.
dopamine
Yeah, yeah, you're
afterwards.
Do you reckon when the Romans were picking, because you said like they were picking their own cult,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Do you reckon they've looked through like the religions and went, like Muslim, they've went, can't fucking drink or eat beef. They've
Yeah,
gone, fuck that one, what
swear
else?
that one off.
Judaism, I've got to cut one off. Fucking, because that Christian one
Yeah.
sounds like
What's this Christian one say you have
Yeah,
to do?
Islam-
Oh, not much. We'll have
Well,
that
Islam
one.
didn't exist yet, did it?
Oh, does
Yeah,
it not?
no,
Oh, there
no,
you
it's
go. Shut the
no,
fuck
it's
up,
not.
Tom.
No, out of the Abrahamic religions, that's the youngest. So you got
that's okay. I
Judaism,
never knew that.
Christianity, and then Islam. So they all come from the same place.
You always imagine the Muslim religion would have been older.
But if you look into it, though,
so Abraham was the father of the patriarchal religions, and every Muslim and Jewish person is meant to like originate from Abraham.
All right.
yeah, right.
They're all part of the same peoples, the same tribes.
But even
Well
if you look
picked
back
Romans.
far enough, like I watched a documentary on saying like Egypt, the religion back then was based on like the
Cats.
sun, blah
Yeah.
blah blah, and then Christianity is just a rewritten form of that.
Exactly the same.
Yeah,
It's the same pattern.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's what it is. Just you see the pattern repeats in every single culture.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I believe that we're just waiting for ours to turn up, like something that unify everyone. That's what I think.
Aliens,
Well,
Ooh.
aliens.
possibly.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
But that's I feel like that's the one thing that would make everyone on Earth go, "Oh, what the fuck have we been doing? There's an alien there.
I think if enough
God's
people
not
have
real. That's
if
there."
enough people have a
Like,
spiritual experience, it'll give them a different outlook on life.
Mm.
I believe that
Yeah.
because I've seen quite a lot of people have a spiritual experience, a mystical experience, and it's made them look at reality completely differently.
Yeah.
But I think it has to be a
mad.
personal thing. It can't be just based on faith and what some other person's told you. It's got
Yeah.
to be a personal experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, if enough people get that, we'll probably fix things.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like I said to Dean the other day, just like when we spend so much time in anxiety thinking, what if something bad happens?
Yeah.
When in reality you've got something bad could happen, nothing could happen, or something really good could happen.
Yeah.
So why are you picking that one negative And since then, we've just been like, what if the best possible thing happens?
Yeah.
And it's just such a much nicer life to live.
And anytime something's coming up, you go, instead of going, oh, what if
I'm
the
shit?
fucking, what if this doesn't
I'm
work?
that kind of person. I'm an aim low, don't get disappointed. And then when it does turn out to be shit, which it inevitably probably will, I go, well, I knew it. I told you it was going to be fucking shit.
Yeah. See, I
then
spent
your
years.
journey's been shit and your outcome's been shit. You may as well just have a nice journey.
And the only solace I take from it is going, told you it was going to be shit.
I know it was right. Yeah.
Anxiety can be a good teacher.
Yeah.
Because that's what it really is. It's a teacher.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the time it's when we spend so long ignoring something.
Yeah.
And then the anxiety comes as a physical reminder. You need to have a look at this.
Yeah.
You know, because it can be a little bit of anxiety or it can be chronic.
Yeah.
Cause a lot of discomfort in the body.
I feel like a lot of people have got overkill anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't know the right word
I
for it
definitely
now,
have.
but and for me, what mushrooms helped me with actually is I had a very unhealthy confidence, and mushrooms got me to a kind of a healthy, not over, just healthy level of confidence.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I can like walk to the shop and not be like, oh, people, you know, like there's, and I think a lot of women, a lot of girls have unhealthy confidence, self-esteem, and we do need to get it to just not overconfident, just normal, healthy confidence.
Like self-esteem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just coming to even like shit with comedy, you know what I mean? Like go for that gig and you're like, nah, fucking.
What if you got the gig though?
I know.
What if, Tom?
Do you know what I mean?
I'd probably
if you
smash
got the
it.
gig?
I'd probably
You're amazing at writing jokes and that,
Yeah.
and you've got what you need to be wherever you want to go. You're the only person that's stopping you from getting there.
I know. I am
Tell him,
my own
Kev.
waste enemy.
Yeah, no, it's right.
I'm a self-sabotager.
No, but see, that's the blessing and the curse. It's like you wouldn't be creative without that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of creative people have the same
energy.
You need it, yeah.
Yeah.
You
See,
need
I
it, but
think-
it's how it's expressed.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I just get out your own way and just go and express it to people.
Yeah.
It'd probably be the
I
best
do.
way
I am.
forward.
That's when like I am most happy as well. Like performing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I find
Easily,
like being overly self-critical about, say, your material or whatever, that's what makes you so good at it.
Yeah.
Because if you turn around and go, I'm fucking the funniest person here, delusional.
It's too
Yeah.
much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
So like when someone goes to me, oh, that was dead good, I'm like,
Yeah.
it could have been
same,
better.
Same.
And that's why you get better.
Yeah.
But then that's also not the healthiest mindset to have, if it, by going, nah, shit that.
No.
As
Yeah.
long
People
as
are like,
you
no,
don't
you
let
smashed
it
that. You're like,
define
nah,
you.
it's fucking
It's another thing
shit.
about balance, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be too overly confident, and you
Yeah.
still want to keep yourself a little bit grounded with some insecurity.
Yeah, it's,
You
it's
can-
such a delicate game, innit?
You do learn to like pat yourself on the back a little bit when you know it goes well.
Yeah.
But it has to be a fucking
But that's
good
what I'm
one
saying,
for
though.
it to- yeah.
Like, it has to be one way you go, it has to be undeniable to you
Yeah, same,
to go,
yeah,
I fucking smashed that. Whereas a lot of times I go, it was all right. And people are like, no, you fucking
same. I have
smashed
that,
it
yeah.
there, you know? And you're like, nah, it was fine.
Well, that's good,
you know?
isn't it? That we have like a fucking, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a self-sabotage thing, though, innit? Right, just going to have a little 5-minute break because I'm busting for the piss.
No problem.
So I was just going to say about mushrooms.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a class A, like, which is stupid. But when we've had them freshly picked ourselves,
Yeah, they're the best.
so different. Like, so that was our first, and a couple of times after that, we just had our own fresh picked, dried out, nom nom nom. But we had some off a dealer as well, and it just wasn't. It just
Probably
wasn't at all.
connection. The picking was part of the process
Yeah,
because
They
you
bloody-
connected with them deeper.
I swear to God, spores must have got up my nose and was like, pick me, 'cause it's so hard to like not pick them.
Did you take a couple while you were picking?
No,
No. So when I went picking with my friends, we always take a couple while
Yeah.
we're picking,
and
and then
you
it's like
speak
they
to
help
you.
you find the rest.
Yeah.
It's like the wave to you.
Yeah.
Then you
Yeah,
can see
right.
them from miles
Do
away.
they not need to be dried out and cleaned and that? Can you pick them off
eat
the
them.
Oh, you
floor?
just
Someone-
grab them.
No,
yeah.
I actually one of my biggest ones I just got home with I had one of these like a Volvo bottle full, and I just took a handful out, put them in a blender with a mango and nectar, and I had 10 hours of hell. but it took me 5 months to put my brain back together after that one. But
Yeah.
there was loads of parts missing. Like I didn't like footy anymore. I like the footy, had the mushrooms, and afterwards I'm like,
I've got it.
this is pointless.
I've got to admit,
Yeah.
That's where Amy's at.
I'm like like, look how many of yous there are and how much money there is in it.
I think it's brilliant. Like, it'd be more
Well,
tribal.
Sorry, I wasn't talking about
Just a
football.
ball.
I mean, you very like not asked about like
Not asked about
watching
anything
stuff
or anyone.
Yeah.
Like, it's not important.
but we used to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
know.
like-
Like, I'd say a couple of subconscious programs are now gone.
Yeah,
'Cause I
right.
think that's what's happened with myself. So imagine I've had a program created from going to the match with my dad,
Yeah,
and then
Yeah.
going to the match with my friends, and then watching the football all the time.
your
And after
brain's
the
wired that
mushrooms-
way.
Yeah, and after the mushrooms, that character's gone.
Yeah.
So like when I was sat in Anfield with my mate, and I was thinking like, imagine this put into something really useful, all this good energy.
Yeah.
So I still liked in the crowd,
The
but I couldn't connect
camaraderie.
to the football.
Yeah.
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
And one
yeah.
thing I've noticed about my own patterns working through them is if I do not do work to maintain it, my patterns will come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I keep on observing the same ones in my reality. I just don't act
Is that
the
not
same.
just? Is there an argument then for that's just who you are, you know, genetically, and maybe you forget about it for a little while? Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's like
you're
in
on
it, like
cloud nine a bit.
pattern wise, like you could get yourself into going to the gym every morning at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
But that'll take 2 months of doing it every day to
That's
the
what I
point where you
mean.
just get up at 7 and go, oh, I'm going to the gym now. And that will apply to every single
Everything.
thing ever.
Everything we've
in it.
ever
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I always compare it to like things that are unconscious, compare it to like when you learn to walk.
Yeah.
If you had to learn to walk now, or you had to concentrate on walking every day, you wouldn't get anything else done.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to be programmed with habits to be more efficient.
Yeah.
But then some of these habits aren't good for us.
Yeah.
So like collective habits, religious habits, political habits, you know, they're not necessarily good for us.
Yeah.
But
Drinking habit.
drinking habits, terrible for us.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my
And
fucking
that's something that
downfall,
we
man.
absolutely like champion.
Well,
Which is mad.
it's because of how destructive it is that it's championed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Wake up,
actually
people.
it's actually harder to turn around to tell someone that you're no longer drinking than it
Yeah.
is to tell someone you're going to have a drink.
Oh,
They've got all sorts of
I'm
questions.
allergic to alcohol, so I don't drink. And
Yeah.
I've been told multiple times to kill myself.
Not
Like-
to kill yourself.
Someone was like,
I'm
throw yourself
sorry.
out
They
that
can't
window.
believe, no, people can't believe it.
People can't believe
Yeah.
you said it to me the other day. You was like, how do you cope?
Yeah.
No, but people.
Happily, I have a really good time sober, and I can remember everything the day after.
Maybe it's a childhood thing where I remember being in the house full of adults who were rotten, and I'm like, I can't fucking
Yeah.
get on these. And then you'd have a couple when you know.
It's hard being
18.
around drunk people.
Fucking
Yeah.
murder.
That's
When
why
you're
you have to get
sober.
drunk.
Yeah, it's murder. It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Just brings the worst out in everyone. And sometimes people go, oh, you hear that old chestnut? Oh, but you're honest. You're more honest when it's like, you're not. You're just a fucking helmet.
You're just a knobhead,
It's
yeah.
just a ticket.
Yeah. That's what I hate. There's nothing worse than going out with someone who's sound and them having a bevy and then
Oh,
turning
yeah.
into a knobhead.
Look,
You're
that's
like,
the
"Ah."
shadow, though.
Yeah,
You're
I
seeing
know.
their shadow, because if they are a sound
Fucking
person
hell.
in real life, you're bound to meet a proper arsehole when they're in the shadow.
Yeah.
Shadow, yeah, some Peter Pan shadows fucking running around, kicking off, causing all mischief and that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
that's part of the reason I had to stop all the drinking, because that's what mine was like. Mine would run amok.
Yeah.
And that's what I hate about people saying weed's a gateway drug when alcohol's definitely the biggest
By
gateway
far.
drug
Weed
ever.
makes you actually feel vulnerable. You're less likely to be violent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas alcohol makes you overconfident.
Are you more
and
likely to have a joint and then go, do you know what, a big fat stripe would be boss after that?
Yeah.
Or have a bevy.
You
and
could
then-
not mix Charlie. You can't mix Charlie.
That's
with
what I'm
it.
saying. So how's that
End of the
the gateway drug to other drugs?
Because it suits the media's agenda by
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Whereas, like, we know the truth is, like, after a couple of pints, a lot of people want to go and have a stripe.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you thought about having a stripe while you're stoned, you'd send yourself
Oh,
proper
yeah,
cuckoo.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you tend not to associate the
it.
two. And plus, I believe weed keeps you in.
Yeah.
You're like you don't want to go out and hang around.
Yeah. We
You don't feel like you're missing out.
We were going to go and see a big comedian, Shane Gillis. Proper excited to see him for weeks since I bought the tickets. And we had an edible waiting for, and then we were in the hotel, and I was like, "Do you know what? I don't even know if I want to go and see Shane Gillis that
I
much
was
anymore."
like, we might have to meet him, and I don't think I'm ready for that. And then I was walking down the street, and a fly went in my eye, and then I was just like, taking at this
Yeah.
See, the closest I've been with it, like, because I always say, you know, if you go out and you do end up on it, you regret it the next day. You never wake up the next day like, brilliant that. You know what I mean? You're always rough and you always go, oh, what did I fucking say or whatever.
Yeah.
Never have I had a joint and woke up the next day and went, oh,
Yeah.
no, what did I get up to?
Yeah.
Where am I? You know what I mean? Never
And-
once in my life.
I know, like, there's, like, it annoys me, the stigma, like, with weed, when I know you shouldn't measure yourself via other people's bad behaviour or whatever. But like, there's so many people in entertainment who's on coke. Like, there'll be
politicians.
but there'll be so many
like,
people you see on the tele who are on coke. Like, it's very popular in
I'd say it's like
entertainment.
70% of fucking, you know, adults.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
At least,
Go
at
out
least
on a
try it.
go out on a
Oh,
night out in
yeah.
Liverpool and
A lot
tell
of
me
scousers.
Yeah.
most people aren't on
The amount of
cocaine.
times you'd have to, it's just sometimes you just walk into the right pub and you're in the toilet, you'd have to batter away. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
And they're
yeah.
like, no, come on, lads, what are you on about?
It's mad.
It's mad, isn't
It's
it?
horrible.
It is.
I'll ask one more thing and then we get through our questions
No
and
problem.
that. In the car, you were talking about doing hypnosis for people. So when obviously it's not like to fucking make people act like a chicken
Oh,
and
what
shit
I
like
was
that.
waiting for.
So it's more to do with like dealing with addiction and trauma and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What is it? A similar way of like Vinnie Sherman style?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it that type of-
similar to, the same as what Vinny does? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what it is with hypnosis, you're trying to take the conscious mind out of it to get access to the subconscious.
Yeah.
And when you've got
Putting like
unfiltered,
half the brain to sleep or something, like the logical.
pretty
which
much the conscious. Yeah, the conscious side. Well, even though one side's predominant, both sort of control both in
Yeah.
a way. But one's that side, the left
It's
side
like
of
your
the brain is
bouncer in
dominant.
it, your head's bouncer, and you put them
Yes.
to sleep, and then the brain
Well,
kind
it's-
of accepts.
Yeah, what it's doing is it's analysing.
Yeah.
See, the brain will be open to suggestion if it hasn't got this thing,
Yeah.
second guessing everything you're saying. So if you use hypnosis to sort of take the conscious mind out of it, you get access to the subconscious.
Yeah.
But the subconscious is an amazing place to be, either your own or other people's. It's fascinating.
So you go through that and then you sort of help people either deal with addiction or
Yeah, yeah. So you will actually open up a dialogue with the part that's addicted.
okay.
It's a separate part. It's a separate program.
But you're actually speaking to them.
Yeah, you're speaking to them,
But they're not
but
getting
it's
nothing
this
back.
actual part. Another part that takes over when you go and party.
Yeah.
Something else gets in and sort of runs your night for you, doesn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're speaking to that part.
Yeah,
And what you're trying
right.
to do is you're trying to reason with this part to find new places you can channel that energy into. So you can directly process energies connected to, because a lot of it's kept in place by trauma.
Yeah.
So you can work through the trauma as well as working through the addiction itself. Or you can open up a dialogue and find out about a change in behaviour.
Right. Okay.
So a
That'd be
change in behaviour,
interesting.
yeah, the change in behaviour might be a positive habit.
I think we have to have a
Something like that.
meeting with you.
Honestly, do you know
Yeah.
what? Honestly, it's good. And I use I don't only just use hypnosis. I do these inner journeys for people where I help them meet different parts of the mind.
Oh,
So you've
okay.
got, like, we were talking before about Jung, or you've got archetypes. So where we've got our individual patterns, we've also got collective patterns, which
Yeah.
are known as archetypes, which means original pattern. So like you've got an inner warrior, you've got an inner lover, you've got an inner magician.
This is what the tarot's based on, guys.
This is what the tarot's based on. All
Okay.
these characters within. See, the tarot is brilliant.
Yeah,
The tarot is so like
told you.
well, so if I'm trying to get into a creative space and I want to think, the tarot's a really good thing for me to pull a couple of
Yeah.
cards, because it triggers the brain in it triggers the brain in 156 different ways. So yeah, so it can help you access different parts. But intuition is just another way of the brain operating. You know, they put so much into the intellect, but the mind actually works through thinking, feeling, sensing, and intuition. So the tarot helps to connect to that.
Ah, right.
But
Okay.
these characters on the inner journey, so say like I take someone through they want to find out what's going to be best thing to take away their inner conflict. We find out what different parts want. So like we ask the warrior, what does the warrior want? The warrior won't normally want something physical, like some sort of like exercise or running or something along them lines to get into the body. And then the lover might want something to do with expression. Like it could be some sort of artistic expression.
Yeah.
You know, a healthy artistic expression, painting, poetry, singing, anything. But then the intellect normally wants to learn something. And it'll normally tell you exactly what it wants to learn. Like I've had a couple of people where their inner magician will turn around and say, they want you to read those, like David Goggins books that are collecting dust on your shelf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the intellect knows what it wants to learn.
Yeah.
But obviously we have to put into action.
Yeah, like a subconscious little voice going like, no, I really want,
Exactly
I need
that.
Like, I need that in my life, yeah.
Exactly that. So these are three archetypes. So think about the warrior is the body, the lover is the heart, the magician is the intellect. And if you have the three of them in balance, you've got your king. So this like you're the king of your kingdom. So
Okay.
you're more in balance, you're more present. But then they've all got the shadow elements as well.
Right.
So the shadow of the warrior is either the masochist or the sadist. So the masochist is the passive shadow. So this is normally people who have low self-esteem and they beat themselves up. The sadist is someone who doesn't mind about obviously causing physical or emotional pain to others.
Okay.
And it's on a spectrum.
Yeah.
Most masochists, given a chance, will become the sadist. You know, it's like they become in a gang or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the lover, you've got the impotent lover or the addicted lover. The impotent lover is someone who's not in the mood for anything to do with love. It doesn't have to be with a partner. It could be to do with the planet. Or the addictive lover. It's like, you know, someone who falls in love within half an hour of meeting someone.
Right, yeah.
So it's like so the balanced lover, the healthy lover is you have love for everything. So you don't just have love for your partner and your family. You have love for reality. You have love for, you know, the whole of existence.
Yeah.
And then the magician can become he can be the detached manipulator or the denying innocent one.
Okay.
You use the intellect to bat things away from themselves, or you use the intellect to manipulate others.
Okay.
But these are all determined by the balance of the other. You know, so
Yeah.
so you want all these parts to communicate with each other. So if you go and take someone on a journey, you find out what the different parts want. And another one you can tap into the Joker. So the Joker is an archetype as well. It's in all of us. And I'd say this is probably the most important archetype in reality. Because comedians always sort of bring things back to balance.
Yeah.
The comedians normally represent the centre. And this is why a comedian, symbolically, you always get a jester in a king's court.
Yeah.
He's allowed to tell the king the truth.
Whenever things get
because it
too
makes him
happy
laugh.
or too sad,
Yeah.
you like a joke always mediates it.
Well, imagine reality's turned upside down. It's going to take the Joker, the comedians, to turn it the right way up. Because you've got to point out things that power structures are doing. You've got to make people laugh about it. You know what I mean?
So they don't panic.
Yes, they don't panic, but it's an important role. Like, humans wouldn't have got this far without humour.
Exactly. Stop trying to kill comedy.
Stop trying to kill comedy.
I wonder if all the animals, because you like dolphins do shit for fun and that, don't you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What?
Like,
Why have you brought dolphins into
I'm just
this?
saying because maybe
Just
we
like
are the
other
only
animals.
animal that like try and make each other laugh and do you know what I mean? For a weird, like, not even for yourself. Do you know what I mean? That's like an
dolphins
ego
are
thing,
like,
isn't
let's
you don't
fuck with this
Because you don't
blowfish.
really make yourself laugh. I mean, maybe
Blowfish.
if you're not on your own. It's always for someone else, isn't it? Or you want the gratification of someone laughing at you.
But it's mad how much, like, even just through laughing you can deal with trauma.
Yeah.
Like, something really bad can happen. And you could say something to your mate that makes them laugh, and then all of a sudden this kind of not thinking about it as much anymore.
I always talk about Doug Stanhope, and he wrote a book on it, but he used to do it on stage, and it's called Digging Up Mother. And it's this story. I'll just, like, really quickly. His mother was dying of, like, lung cancer, and she rang him up one day. He was like, Doug, I'm ready to go. And he tells this all on stage. And so he flew his mum out from, to Arizona to this big party. She was on the wagon for like 20 years. And he's like, well, if you're going to go, you might as well have a drink. Anyway, he throws this big party for his mum. And, like, he's got these strips of morphine pills that they're giving out, and have a little cry, have a little party, go back, give his man a few more morphine pills. And as she's, like, fading in and out of consciousness, his mum, he's like grabbing her by the shoulders. He's like, Mum, stop, he found a cure. And she's like, fuck off. And I just always never thinking, like, to make that, like, a joke about a sister suicide and his own mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then to turn that into, like, one of the most positive things.
Yeah.
That for me is always, like, the epitome of stand-up.
That's how he deals with his trauma, innit?
I agree with
Amazing.
that. You can take the most serious, like, things. Like, I always liken it to, imagine you're in, like, the trenches about to go over the top and you're proper, like, shitting yourself. And then one of the lads farts.
He's after
and it's like everyone starts laughing because farts are always funny. And it takes that edge. Takes that edge off.
Breaks the tension.
Air coming out of your anus. It's hilarious.
Brilliant, though.
Right.
You have a question?
Should we get through these questions then?
Let's. Well, the first one's from Claire F. And she says, how does it feel about everyone jumping on the DMT bandwagon? And are they cheapening the experience by not doing it properly?
I think it will teach them itself. Because it's like you're messing with forces within the mind that are beyond our control and understanding.
So I've heard Paul told me a story, or maybe us on here, I can't remember. But he said he was doing it a bit too much, and he ate it one time, and he went in, and it was like the entities told him off.
Yeah, they
It
will.
wasn't. He didn't say it was. He didn't feel scared or anything.
Yeah.
But when he come out of it, he felt like a little kid getting told off by his mum.
Yeah.
And he was like, "All right, I'm gonna have a little break
I've heard
from
there's
that."
quite a bit.
Yeah.
I've heard there's quite a lot. Yeah, because there's parts within there that will tell you off if you're over.
So do you think? I know. Sorry, we can get to.
No, it's okay.
The entities that people see. So Paul's gone in. I'm just using Paul's for an example. I don't know exactly what he's seen or whatever, but say he's gone in and he's seen this entity who's told him, stop fucking about with this. You're taking it too much like a fucking party type thing and not for what it's meant for. He's come back. Is that in his head, or do you think that is something else
I think that particular medicine will open up that particular realm, and then particular beings will dwell in that realm.
So it is a different. It's not just all in your head. It's a different realm that you can
believe
get
it's a
to
different realm.
via
Obviously, on the physical level, we're
something.
releasing chemicals in the body.
Yeah.
But on the metaphysical level, we don't understand where we go.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. And with if you see it, your head is like an antenna, and you change the frequency.
A receiver of consciousness rather than a producer of it.
And it's not something that you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I believe.
Every time I hear entities, I'm always like, what the fuck's that bit?
Energy.
No, that's it.
But I didn't know whether that was just your brain personifying the thought,
your brain is personifying a thought, or an energy.
Okay.
So it's like I saw a representation of God, he'd probably look like me. But if I was a Muslim and I saw a representation of God, I'd probably look like a Muslim. So it's like it's down to what our brains interpret the information, what's familiar to me.
Yeah.
You know, and then my brain will probably throw up a symbol that I will understand.
Right, okay.
I think I'd see Ryan Gosling. I think that would be mine. I'd be like, Ryan, of course it was you. It was always you.
I just thought of a question. Genuine, like, Dana brought me up on this. Have you ever met anyone who's like weird with electricity?
Yes.
Because what is
that? They affect lights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, the external world doesn't exist, does it? It's only the internal world that exists. So I believe their energy is interacting with that energy.
So is it just because I know you're laughing.
No, laughing at you.
He's laughing at me.
But because we have electricity in our cells, and I'm weird with electricity. Like I'll make alarms go off, or
like stuff won't
not
work, and then she'll go, "Why isn't this working?" And I go, "It's working. What are you on about?"
But like he had this hairdryer, and every time I'd just take it off him, and it'd switch off, and he'd take it back, and it'd work. And
it's weird.
I had loads of weird synchronicities with streetlights when I first started going through this whole process.
Oh yeah.
So it was as if the streetlights were coming on. I mean, obviously it could just be coincidence, but it was an awful lot. These particular streetlights.
Is that what Billie Jean's about?
They've replaced the streetlights now with the other ones that don't work.
But is it like an imbalance or something? Do you know?
Do you know what? I couldn't tell you. You know, because it's maybe something trying to, I don't know.
I don't know if it's related to some kind of ADHD or something as well, like an overworking or something.
Like too much going on.
Yeah,
I couldn't say.
Sure.
I always take different synchronistic events where it takes it out of the norm, is so you are taken out of the norm.
Yeah.
I always see it as that. Like a lot of people get number sequences, 1111s and all these sort of things, and like I believe when that's happening, it's like there's something that's trying to get their attention. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but it seems a lot of the time like too much to be coincidence.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Bit too spooky.
So just quickly, a lot of people doing DMT cheapening their experience. I think I interrupted your answer with that one.
Okay. So I think like anything else, it needs to be respected because of how powerful our mind is, as opposed to anything else,
and how easily you can fuck it up as well.
How easily you can fuck it up, but it does regulate itself.
Yeah.
I know quite a lot of people who've been told off.
Yeah.
I actually had one friend who done it while he'd been drinking, and the beings pretended to take him to the light.
Oh
so
shit!
He thought
really,
he was going. He thought he'd proper fucked up. Like
that's one way to scare you.
But when he come back, he's like in a pile of his own sweat in Walton Park. And he's like, he couldn't believe it, but he hasn't touched it since.
Jesus, yeah.
I mean, that will put you off, but I mean, maybe that's what he needed. Maybe he didn't need to do it again.
I agree. I just any way we're sort of tapping into these forces in the mind, we have to respect everything. But that's anything. Anything can be used as a tool, and it can be abused.
Yeah.
But we need to be careful with all of it, I'd say.
Yeah.
Nice. Right. Next question from Alex R, and he's asked, what age do you think is old enough for the DMT or ayahuasca experience?
I'd say you'd want to make sure they're an adult. You want to make sure the brain is like fully developed. Yeah.
So over, would you say maybe 22 and over is like a pro? You know,
I'd say even older than that, mate. I haven't tried it, but I feel like when you're still that young, you're still really young at 22.
Your brain doesn't really develop fully until you're 25.
I know. I used to get shouted by.
Brain's done now, mate.
But you could argue the toss that initiation's also important. So if you've got like someone who's like 18 and you've had the tough innings, an initiation may be a good idea to help them into that adult psyche. Help them get into adulthood.
Because some people, because of the lives they've had, and say like if the parents weren't around when they were younger, and you have to grow up quick. Then their brains, you'd imagine, would develop a bit quicker because it has to naturally.
You could argue the whole culture is like grown-up kids in adult bodies.
Absolutely,
You know, so it's like, are any of us initiated? Are any of us actually grown?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I don't feel like an adult, and I'm 31 next month.
It's like when you're talking about like growing people up and like kids getting older faster. If you think about like in the 90s when like Britney Spears came out with Hit Me Baby, it was like people were like, what the fuck's this? This is demented. And now we've got so conditioned to it where we're like, we see a fucking girl like that, like being sexualized.
Why isn't her tits out?
Yeah, we're like,
why is she so covered up?
Who's this fucking prude, Disney? The fucking skates.
No, but I wasn't talking about everyone. I was just talking about like a few individual cases where like people have to grow up a bit quicker. In that case, then, like you say, like an initiation, if you're 18, you mentally might be more able to deal with it because you've had to grow up quicker and deal with certain things over some other 18-year-olds who have had an easier life. That I didn't mean every 18-year-old. You know what I mean?
Well, if you can be used as a tool to help someone with trauma, then I'd say crack on. But don't abuse it and make sure you're integrating what you've learned. Like, don't just have it once and then take from it what you can, learn from it what you can, and leave a good length of time before you have to. Like I say, we don't want to abuse anything.
But mainly wait until your brain's fully developed.
Yeah, wait until your brain's developed because you'll get more from it, I'd say.
So 25 and over, maybe,
25 and over, ideally, But if, like I say, if someone had like trauma and that was the route that they wanted to take, they should be free to be able to take that
definitely,
route.
Yeah,
because it's just another 7 years.
Should be able to do whatever you want in it. Like,
should be able to. But if
as long as you're not hurting anyone else,
we'd be more mature about how we take things, but we're not really educated in these ways.
Because it's illegal, it makes everything more sketchy, doesn't it?
Yeah, well,
like
a class A
psychedelics
drug,
and stuff like that.
It's so expensive to research because of the restrictions on it, because it's a class A drug. For example, mushrooms. So the people can't even afford to look into it properly, even though it's been used for so many years as medicine.
Sorry, go on, finish your thoughts.
It's like scientifically proven now that it treats PTSD.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I was reading this article about a woman and the way she's raising her 2 lads. I can't remember where I saw it, but basically it's this mad parenting style of she just lets them do what they fucking want to a certain degree. And naturally the kids are making the right decisions, like no influence whatsoever. No influence whatsoever.
Like
and these kids are like people, like when it first came out what she was doing, people were giving a load of shit like, oh, you should have them kids taken off you. She's like, I still fucking wash them and bathe them and feed them. But I'm letting them do what they want to like a large.
We are mollycoddled.
And these kids are just like naturally finding like, no, they want to go to school and they want to like.
Well, parents. Sorry, go on.
No, just say it was really surprising that these kids like not sitting there eating ice cream all day. Like they get told you can have what you want.
Because it's more about kicking back against the discipline,
and making the right decisions.
Can I compare this to people buy dogs and a rescue dog? Like, the rescue dog is just it knows what's happened, it knows what's going on, it's so much more respectful, in my experience. And everyone who buys the dogs, they're so like bratty.
This is more like saying...
like, because they don't know, they don't understand the world. I think what that parent's done is shown the kids, this is what real world is.
Remember, she has to be reasonably balanced as well. Because what it is kids don't do as we say, kids do as we do. So as long as she's living her life in a reasonably balanced way, the kids are going to pick that up automatically.
Absolutely.
But also
if she didn't want to tell them what to do, give them discipline, and she was a fucking lunatic, then the kids are going to be lunatics as well.
But do you think that's what it is as well, though? Like, the going against the discipline is what makes some kids do what they do. Because if you go, right, you can do what you want then, and they go, oh, I'm going to eat this ice cream. And you go, go ahead. And then the day after, they go, I don't really feel like ice cream. But it's you going, you're not having one. They're like, well, I want one. The fighting back is what makes... I mean,
that's what it
you're
was.
going to school. I don't want to go to school. Whereas you just go, do you want to go to school today? They go, yeah, actually, I think I do want to go.
That's what it was. That's what the article was,
Is that just because...
It's like communication then, isn't it?
Yeah, authoritarianism or whatever.
Well, I do try to communicate with my kids now.
Well, you need to, man.
I feel like that was the same in school as well. It was like someone sat me down and went, right, you're going to learn about all these numbers. And I was like, I don't want to learn that. And it was at no point in school did someone go, what do you actually want to learn? Until I got to late secondary school, and by then I was fucking tapped out. I was like, I just want to be out of here.
School systems, like...
The school system's designed that way.
It's because there's
Yeah.
one
size-
system.
It's one size fits all.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
No, but the thing is, we used to, the Nazis and the Soviets, that's what they had, the one-size-fits-all school system. And then normally what happens now is if a kid doesn't fit the school system, the problem's with the kid.
Yeah.
They might not want to learn.
Get him on tablets. He's got fucking
I left school at 13. But I was lucky because I had a mum who just bought me books.
Nice.
So I read some unbelievable books by the age of 13,
Brilliant,
14. Actually, one of the reasons why I'm very aware, but about the potential for dictatorship.
Yeah.
It's one of the first books I read when I was 13. Was 1984.
Oh, okay.
I read it
scary
twice, and
now.
I was terrified because
Yeah.
I was like, the building is around us.
Right. So
There was so 2020 come, and I'm like, it's happening.
Some foresight on that guy.
The question.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go on.
Jonathan Bagley. I still don't know how to pronounce your name, mate. I'm sorry. We will get there one day though.
I think it's big.
Is it Bagley?
I don't know.
Bagley.
Bagley.
You've got 3 names now. How does it feel about being such a legend in the Liverpool comedy scene?
I didn't know I was, but I'm happy.
Yeah.
Paul
People know you.
as meant to say, like a lot of people know the name Shaman Kev because of Paul and Milo chatting about you. So like it's mad that people know of you, even though they don't know what you do, or they just think you're some fucking DMT slinger from Bootle or something.
That's one way of putting it. But I mean, I'm happy with that because I'll be honest with you, like I say, I love the comedy myself. Yeah, and I like Paul and Milo. Like Paul's like a really, really good fella, you know.
He sounds
he actually comes to like we've done a cold water. He comes along to the cold water sometimes. We do different meditations. So he always shows a lot of support to like myself and a lot of the other lads. Yeah,
he's a very humble guy, and he will come down to events where like there's loads of people and just be like, oh yeah, I'm here as well. Like,
but he's just proper.
He's not like above it or anything, is he? Yeah.
No, he's just he's a belter fella, Paul.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah,
Jane Pickering. Hello, Jane.
Shout out, Jane.
Please ask Shaman Kev to talk about dreams. We did mention dreams a little bit. And also, if he thinks it's all right to nod off during Vipassana.
Yeah.
Is that something to do with yoga?
So Vipassana silent meditation.
Okay.
And that's what she said. She said, ask if it's all right to nod off during Vipassana.
Sounds tasty,
Vipassana. I'm going to go for a Vipassana after this. In brackets, which happens to me more and more nowadays, and I must admit, I quite enjoy. You little saucy bear.
Well, it depends. If you like, I fall asleep during meditation sometimes, and sometimes it's really good sleep. But that's sometimes when I'll experience some of the most vivid dreams. Because I'll do a meditation, and then partway through the meditation, I'll fall asleep, and then the dreams become really vivid. And
falling asleep's kind of a good sign, though, isn't it? Because you've cleared your mind so much that you've relaxed enough to just fall asleep.
That's it, yeah. But I think it's because the aim of the meditation is to stay conscious and become conscious through it. Yeah. So some people think it's bad to fall asleep, but I'd say if you felt relaxed after the meditation, just go with it.
Have a little nap.
And if for any reason you don't want to fall asleep during the meditation, if you're lying down, just switch to sitting up for the meditations instead, and you're less likely to drop off.
Put one of them little horns behind you, Jane.
And regarding dreams, I believe that dreams are really important. I think that they're trying to give us really important information, and I think understanding dreams can help with continuity through life. You know what I mean? Like we wake up sometimes in the mornings and it's, it feels a bit shit, doesn't it? Yeah. But I think the dream world helps us to process things, helps us to process information. So if she's connected to her dreams, write them down, try to figure out what they mean.
Right, Jane, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I say, I've got a very active dream life, and anyone that tells me they've had a dream, like the kids or my partner, I'll try to pull out of them what they've been. Because I want to know what they've been dreaming about. Because like I say, I believe it's important.
Yeah.
And then
it's a weird thing that happens, innit? Like
you're
unconscious and paralyzed for however many hours, and your brain goes, right, I'm fucking going up. I'm in Soviet Russia.
It's taking that time to process. So I believe that processing is important for our mental health. So if we seek to understand what it's saying, I think it's going to help even more.
Yeah. I had a specific one about like my teeth. I know it normally is to do with self-conscious or something, but I had my teeth went black and I got a free out, and I went to the dentist, and I'd like never been the dentist. Like my mum didn't take me to the dentist or nothing. And one of my teeth had my wisdom tooth was in sideways, but I didn't know it had affected the tooth in front of it, so I needed that one taken out. But it looked normal from where I could see. No, so the dream was about my tooth coming out, and then I went to the dentist.
So the dreams probably revealed information that you weren't aware of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
so that's like your body talking to you, going, "This tooth's bad, you know." It needs to come out.
And they was like, that would have started hurting very soon.
And teeth are connected to everything, like most systems within your body. Like when a kid's teething, it has all sorts of other issues in to do with sickness and diarrhea and all sorts of things.
Right, yeah.
So the teeth are very connected to the rest of the body.
Yeah,
everything's linked.
Mad.
Right, Dan Roberts. Come here to mine, Dan. What would you say to someone who feels they're too logical to enjoy trippy shit and fears a proper bad one? Would you swerve it or not?
If they're too logical to
appreciate
it.
So control.
I'd say it's about control, and I'd say it probably open up different parts of the way the mind works. You know, so if they're very logical and rational, they could do with connecting to the irrational part of the mind anyway to tap into creativity and balance.
I know Dan. He's like quite an intelligent lad as well. So probably
like scientifically minded.
Not really. I'd say
logically
he's intelligent. You know, just in a conversation, he can hold his own, and he knows about different.
Yeah.
You know,
that's it. The
subjects.
The marriage of like science and philosophy is probably what is gonna.
Well, that's feminine. It's feminine masculine as well.
That's why we're doing well, innit?
Yeah. So just have a go, Dan,
innit? If he's curious about trying it, then he should really just try it and just see how he gets on with it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. But once again, good integration period afterwards.
And a good, I can only speak from like my little experience. Just have good people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's it. Like, nice, relaxed environment. No fucking knobheads in there trying to make you have a bad one and that. Like,
like you just.
Yeah.
Like,
shall I try and read this kid's email out?
Go on, we'll get this email done. How long are we done there?
Half an hour.
Yeah, so we'll get this email done and then.
Right, apologise. I'm gonna stumble through this one. So we've had an anonymous email. We don't usually do this. We've had an anonymous email put through, and Amy's just put it down for me to read, and I've read over
and
it.
And he's dyslexic, so let's.
Give me a fucking break. Right, hi. Big fan of the podcast. Also of the band. I think he means your band there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
It's probably the Mild High Club. There's a band called the Mild High Club.
Right, shit. Yeah. Okay. All right. He said probably should get the bands on the podcast. That would be cool. Maybe if the Stoners and stuff like that.
Well, they're called
I think like California, like LA ways.
Fly them out.
Yeah.
Right. So I have a very embarrassing story, which is why I've sent this off on a secondary email account. I've never told anyone about this. It's a big secret to carry. So it's a relief for me to share with someone. When I was 14, I was hanging out with some older lads, probably 17, 18, and they said if I wanted to be in their gang, I had to do something to prove my allegiance to them. Being young and impressionable, I was willing to do whatever to fit in. What they asked me to do was bad, but they assured me that they had also had to do it in the past. They had 3 tasks for me to do. The first one was smash someone's car window through with a hammer. I did it. Second one was shit in an envelope and post it through someone's letterbox. I did it. Oh, no. Third thing is that this is where it gets weird. They told me I had to shag a sheep.
What?
They told me
Welsh gangs. That was
We're the Jets. They showed me I had to shag a sheep. Assured me again that they all had to do it before.
I'd be like, no, I want to see one of you doing it first. I'm not having that, fuck you.
And it actually feels really nice.
Is that what they said in the email?
Yeah. This made me laugh. They wrangled one, which just makes me think of 4 like teenage dads like,
hey, get
capture
it.
this sheep, kicking off and that.
Jesus Christ.
Right, so they wrangled one up, tied it up for me. Fucking hell, right? I made them stand as far away as possible, but as soon as my jeans were down, they ran over and started. They ran over and started taking pictures of me.
Oh no.
They told me they were going to print them and put them all over my school. I was mortified. And later that day, my mum caught me crying behind the shed. So he must live in a rural... Just to be like,
it's just a sheep on, like where you can go.
I told her what happens and she told my dad. Both of them went round to the boys' parents' house and told them that they were going to the police because the boys had explicit pictures of a minor. The lads all shit themselves and got a good bollocking. You'd fucking hope so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Off the parents. One of the parents even gave me £500 to say sorry. Can't believe I'm telling you this. Nice one, anonymous.
So I mean, nice one for writing that in, but
Fucking made up myself for reading that through as well.
Well
good.
done,
That's
Tom.
well done. So the price to shag a sheep's 5 ton then, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, good. I don't know
That's
why the
everywhere.
lad felt the need to tell us that, but I hope you
it's
feel.
probably
Sometimes
a
people
big
have dealt
event.
with it, and now he's happy to
And
write
you
it
obviously
in.
don't
and-
want to tell people.
You freak.
know.
It shows you some of the mad things people do to fit in.
Fucking
Yeah.
mad.
That's it, yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
I'd rather be an
I
outcast.
knew it was gonna get sexual. I knew it was gonna get sexual by the
Yeah,
third
that's why they've
one.
sent it in here.
It thought it was been like something for fucking Shane Meadows. Like show's gonna be like, oh,
Is
God,
that what?
what's he gonna fucking make him do?
So do you think, would you do anything like that to be in a gang? Because you were talking
It
on the
depends
way
what
here that
gang
you
it
watched
is.
The Warriors and
Well,
you
yeah.
were trying to form a
I don't
little
know,
gang
quite-
when you was a kid.
Quite impressionable.
Yeah.
If it's a good looking sheep. I don't
Well,
know.
so, Tom, if you want to stay on the
Sheep's
podcast,
got-
we've got a
It's
sheep
big-
here.
big
It depends. I
boobs.
don't know if Jeff Bezos was like,
Jess.
Jess, that's his sister. She's really ugly, but she's just as rich. I don't know.
I wouldn't have sex with a sheep just to be in a gang.
Because I'd kill myself if the information came out. But I'm thinking of the perks. I'm thinking of the paper perks.
What's the perks of
What?
being in a Welsh gang?
Oh, fucking loads of rock. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a mad one, that.
No, I
Yeah.
wouldn't shag a pig.
I don't know what to say. Don't do that to 14-year-olds.
Or sheep.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
sheep.
Leave the fucking
Yeah.
sheep
Think about
alone,
a
will
poor
ya?
sheep.
The sheep's
That's-
done
they
nothing wrong there,
sheep
have
could be
they?
pure traumatised.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you don't know where
Might
that
have a
sheep's been.
fetish now.
It'd be a slag of a sheep.
it might be.
Might get a fucking STD off that
Yeah.
sheep.
It happens.
Lyme disease.
Koalas give you a...
But I tell you what,
Chlamydia.
if anyone else has got any other embarrassing stories like that, please send
Embarrassing
them
gang initiation.
in. Come on, we've all been there.
Mad.
That's a
mad.
crazy one, that.
You'll have to eat a piece of white dog
But I mean,
poo.
he didn't even want like no advice or nothing. He was just letting us know.
He was just telling
I
us the
think he
story.
was
I
just
appreciate it.
clearing his
Yeah, getting off
dusty
his...
closet.
If
Get
you've
off
got
his
any
chest,
and
yeah.
you want to admit or let us know about anonymously, send them in.
Have you got anything to
Like this
admit?
little sheep shagger here.
I can't compare to that.
No. Yeah.
Have some
Wow.
have some psychedelics and see if you
And then
reconnect
go
with that
and then
sheep.
go and fuck a sheep,
and
yeah.
see if it's no. Well, you do find mushrooms in the sheep fields, though, so you never know. It might be connected somehow.
Oh, fucking hell. Funny.
I
Right.
don't really know where to go from there,
We
is it?
can we can round it off with if you've got to plug anything, and also
Yeah,
advice to the world.
socials.
Shaman
Advice to the
Kev.
world.
So
Advice
you've
to the world
got
about
what are your
anything.
social medias?
So my social media is on Instagram, the Mind Shaman 1111,
Okay.
and I'm on Facebook as well. The Facebook I don't use as much.
So can people
Probably have to go
book
onto the
in
Instagram?
one-to-ones with you and group?
Yeah,
stuff with you?
one-to-ones. So mostly what I do is the one-to-one mind coaching sessions.
Yeah.
They can book it for individual sessions or like a group of sessions, depending on what you've got to work on.
Yeah.
Like I say, I work on all sorts of different things: addictions, eating disorders, mental health issues.
Yeah.
Like I say, there's normally something to solve anything really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Nice.
And I obviously use I teach Reiki, do a course once a month. I teach meditation and breath work. I do a course once a month.
Yeah.
Do Cambo every day of the week.
Is this all available to get in touch through Instagram?
Yeah, just get
and
in
that?
touch. Yeah, but normally what I'll choose to do is I'll normally speak to the person if they want to. I do a free consultation and we decide what's better for them.
Yeah.
You know, because like I say, there's always some people just want to go purely natural routes with nothing at all. Some people might want to try Cambo or
Yeah.
anything else.
Oh, right. Okay. That's cool.
But then get them in touch with me through the Instagram page.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sound.
We will also be in touch.
Get in touch whenever you
We'll
like.
do we'll sort something out.
Go
Yeah.
and visit the gods.
Have you got
Oh,
any
yeah.
sort of message that you want to relay to the world?
Oh, if anyone's struggling, especially anyone in Liverpool, we do, me alongside with my friend has been doing a speech meditation for the last couple of years. And we've had like 1,000 people come to the meditation.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, so it's a good space for people to come if they want to like get in balance and
Yeah.
meet some like-minded people who
Yeah.
are, you know, just trying to find ways to relax.
Yeah.
really.
Nice. Yeah, man. Nice. Cool. Well,
Lovely
nice
and
one for coming
wholesome.
down, man. Appreciate it. It's good having a chat with you.
Quick before we finish.
Go ahead.
Vince McMahon
Yeah.
is retiring, so just happy retirement, Vince.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know he's watching this.
I've heard he's
Happy
an
retirement,
awful
Vince.
guy, but nice one, Vince.
Don't listen to these.
What's that?
He was the chairman of the WWE
Sorry,
Wrestling
I had to get it
Federation.
in there.
I've actually got, right, my dad went on to onto Spotify. My dad's got his playlist of Spotify.
Vince McMahon's
Vince
playlist.
McMahon's, yeah,
I
because
knew
he's got a
Italian. I
he's
knew
got his
Italian.
no, it's-
Synchronicities.
no, he's
mate.
got his real name. Right, and I'll get his real name up now. And but the actual playlist is brilliant.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes, I
She's
knew it.
right. There we go.
Be all fucking Wall
Go,
Street
go
shit.
check that out on Spotify as well. You got any gigs coming up, Tom?
Not of yet, mate. I've been really sick, haven't I? I've missed a few of these episodes. I'm back though.
Back.
Get on the ball soon, and
Yeah, sweet.
come watch me do
Go
comedy.
follow him on Instagram and that.
I'll open up one of your Mondays soon.
Yeah.
Patreon. We've got over 30 episodes. We've got live shows. We've got specials.
Sports Day.
Adam Rowe, next one, big one.
Adam Rowe will be on.
No
It's
tickets
gonna
left
be
now,
mental.
he's all slept.
We've already sold out.
Oh, that's sick.
He's all slept on it, so unlucky.
So yeah.
It's good, Adam.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
class.
He's amazing.
So yeah, that's everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one for watching,
Love
everyone.
yous.
See yous.
Take it easy.
Thank you.
See you all next week.
Thanks,
Nice
mate.
one for coming down, man. I
Nice one,
appreciate
thank you.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Nice chat.
No worries.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.